you like the attention, even if you don't understand it. You understand the significance of it, even if you don't really understand how significant it is. You still understand the significance of what's occurring by how the adults are treating you. So kind of talk to me just in a free-form associative state about how that feels at that age. Because remember, you're still progressing energetically. So just talk about how it feels.
Well, where are we? Because in Monroe, Louisiana, that's you said Pat Roach put me back in West Monroe back earlier when I was learning to twirl batons. So where am I? Because I do it by where I see myself past. It's like going back in time. You're seeing a video in your head.
Right, I get that. And as I sit with you, I see the images with you. I don't see all of them, but I can see them. And so, one of the things.
I've never had Pat Roach in my story, but you picked up and you said Pat Roach, which I've never had him in my story before. So that's the Mason, and the guy, he thought I was really pretty. I was sort of scared of him, I felt like he was a pedophile kind of guy. But I didn't like him. But I don't know, but you took me back to, I'm not in Houston where I'm a teenager. I'm back where I was a kid learning to twirl batons.
Okay.
Does that make any sense? When you mentioned Pat Roach, that's my Diane Street when I was younger. That's junior. That's elementary, junior high, and high school, up to ninth grade.
Okay.
Then
good.
I go to Houston, ninth grade.
Okay.
So Pat Roach means baton twirling, and how to learn to twirl. It brings up my television because as a little girl, I knew what
Theresa.
you said is I knew I was important or something, or I knew something. But that made me remember television and going. I was special in school when I had to wear the special dresses and the petticoats and the bows and all that because they were taking me to television land in a car. A man would pick me up. They trusted him somehow, but a man would pick me and one other girl and maybe a boy or two to film television out of Ransom Elementary School. So that's when I started feeling important, was television.
Okay, good. So that's the first feeling of importance. So interesting. So when we understand how we regress the material and we regain our memories, we have to understand the setup. What is the setup? So the setup is that they made you feel special, and they acknowledge your talent. And so now I want you to and we've done your first encounter with throwing knives with talent, the second one at the movie theater, the third one where your stepfather takes you and you sign the papers and afterwards you go to the mall, and then the fourth experience where you're supposed to go to Washington, but you don't, and the two women come over and hold a conversation with you, okay? So, and so in each one of those instances in your story, something that they said to you that made you feel important and made you feel special. So following that timeline, I want you to go forward to the next most important memory in this sequence of events and look at the feeling of importance and just let your mind drift to the next point of importance. You have clarity here, you have understanding, you have wisdom, you have subconscious knowledge, you have past life memories. All of it ties together in this moment to look at that memory and see it with clarity and go to the next most important event.
Well, I wasn't supposed to have kids, and I got pregnant because Steve wanted to keep a Vietnam War happened, and he got our high school that same year in '67. The boys were getting recruited and coming back in body bags was the story. So Steve had to go down and get what's called butt naked at the MEPS Center in Houston, and he was scared shitless. So we got pregnant. It was his. And I didn't even know, I'd never had sex, so he got me pregnant at the theater. And so I've screwed everything up. So I screwed the pooch. So they let him work at NASA. and they had me fill out more paperwork at NASA again for my clearances and stuff.
Okay, how old are you?
16.
Okay, and how do you feel about being pregnant?
I was never going to have kids. I wasn't supposed to have kids.
Right, but now you're pregnant. How do you feel
I
about it?
don't understand. I don't feel. I don't even understand how it happened. I literally don't. I mean, at that time, I was dumb as a rock, and he was making out with me, so I never had sex. Nobody had ever kissed me. Remember, he's the guy that went to the banquet. He had 5 scholarships, played the trumpet, band president. So he made me feel special because his parents were trying to get, his dad worked at NASA. He had the car. He was the big band president. He was somebody. He was dating the Patrick Swayze girl and all that. So his dad worked at NASA, and I got pregnant, and I got a job because we'd gone. He was playing in the symphony, and I was going and riding horses with Joan Robinson Hill, and she was the horse lady, and we'd go to Shamrock, and we would swim during the summer. That's the same time I got recruited, and I was in the baseball, and I got pregnant. All this is happening, and I'm getting pregnant in my bathing suit, and Joan told me I was pregnant, but I didn't know I was because the girls were making fun of me, and Joan told me, but her husband got killed. We were going to his house in the mansion, and they did a book and a movie with Farrah Fawcett about him that same timeline, that same year. All this happened. But Debra may remember River Oaks, but it was Dr. John Hill. You remember John Hill and Racehorse Haynes?
Yep.
And,
PJ, you're losing me. Okay,
I know a lot goes on.
Trying to track you.
That's all part of that
but
same
we got
time.
to slow it down and unpack this. You're doing a flow of consciousness again, and Suzanne was doing real good to track. So you're losing
that's
me.
all
You're
happening
going
right there.
boom, please. Wait, stop. I got a psychic hit. PJ is what was your first husband's name again? Is he the father of the baby? You know. Is Steve the father of the baby?
Yeah, Angela. Looks just like him.
So
okay,
you know, okay, you know for fact.
It's only sex I ever had.
Go ahead.
Of course.
Okay. So
how do you not know that you had sex? That's what I don't understand.
I got
remember
pregnant
having sex the first time.
Well,
I got pregnant.
But
Somebody had to tell me I was pregnant.
You don't remember that he penetrated you?
Yeah, he was sliding it in, Janet. I don't want to get gross. Yeah.
Okay, you do remember that. No, you said you. I was so confused. I'm going, well, this must be Immaculate Conception, and some ET themes are up. Because, I certainly remember when people put things inside me.
I didn't know what it was. It felt warm, okay? Dude, I don't want to go into all the details. We're in theater.
No, I don't want
you
you to. Nobody's asking you to. I just wonder if you remember.
So
you said
Theresa,
you don't remember having sex, and it's like, well, how did you get pregnant? So back to you, Suzanne.
Oh, good. So good way to break it up for us to laugh about sex. But I think
is everybody else going to tell their story on radio like I am? God.
They are. Okay. So
y'all
Theresa,
got it coming now. Debra, you and Karen got it coming. You hear me?
Theresa,
be careful what you ask. Make sure you want to hear that answer.
I do. When you got pregnant first time, or when you got it the first time, everybody's got to share. It's a girl thing.
Yeah, no problem.
Quiet. Okay, we got.
You know we're on radio,
really
right?
2 hours. Okay. Yes. So
Teresa,
Suzanne, take control. Suzanne, take control. Go ahead.
Okay. So Theresa, it's an interesting story because every single time you talk about a shift or something that happens that's significant, they make you feel special. So now here you are. You're staying busy. You're staying active. You're involved in baseball, and now it's summertime, and you're swimming, and the girls are making fun of you because they can see that you're pregnant and you're 16, right?
Yeah, I forgot about that. But I remember being at the Shamrock Hilton, and the pool's on the top level. the Shamrock Hilton, Debra may remember, down close to Westheimer, down in there, near the park and the zoo. That was sort of our hangout. We rode horses. We went over to the mansions in River Oaks, and but we went to the top. And I remember standing there on a bright sunny day, and this security guard looked at me and mentioned it, and that was how everybody started laughing, because they said she doesn't know. So I didn't know I was pregnant, and the security guard at the top of the Hilton, Shamrock Hilton, and I find out, I don't believe it. I don't even know what pregnant is. So I wasn't going to have kids, but by the time I figured it out, I'm not real happy about it. So, I mean, it was not happy. It wasn't happy. It was embarrassing. But I was happy when I went with the Hilton and with Joan, because, Joan was real popular, and I liked her. We rode horses together.
Okay, so I'm gonna take you back. You're not off topic, but this is the part. The reason you're talking about this part of the story is because this is the part of the story where you get off track from the government bringing you in for the position that they think you're going to take. And so you're talking about this the way you're talking about it because you realize that you're off track. You're off track.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to get pregnant. But then they pulled me in another way through NASA and my husband, and I get to go have the kids. And then, but they've had my history, so they said they could, everything was okay. But they sent a man to my house with the government that worked at NASA with my husband to make sure I finished my GED and went to law enforcement and got into the Pearland Police. And so the government man that was with NASA came and something about Chicago. And Chicago wound up being the recruiting where the CIA and the FBI was. So they recruited me. So Chicago becomes important 69, 70 because I'm pregnant.
Okay, let's stop right there. Let's take a little breather. You covered the material once. So here's how you work, Theresa, when I do this process with you is that when I explain to you why you digress and why you don't go forward with the material, it's because you have an emotional block, you have regret, shame, disappointment, anger, whatever, and then that gets your story stuck. And then when I bring you back to the point where I talk about how special it felt and how important it is for you to be on this journey, then you go to the next relevant detail. So we're staying on the relevant detail and we're following a timeline. So now you've taken us to 1970, and they've asked you to finish up your GED, and they've asked you to take and go to Chicago and become involved in law enforcement. That's the part. That's what I'm trying to get you to get clear about that. Now, this has to go a little slower, and you've got to be more clear.
Okay. Well, I have more kids, but I do go and I'm a police dispatcher. Before civil service comes in, the way it was explained to me, they were coming, but I went in and did dispatching to get some law enforcement. But I've had 4 kids, boom, 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 boom. So 69, 70. So I had Angie March 25th, 68, and then I plump out Lauren April 3rd, 70. Mm-hmm. So that's when I meet Newton Schwartz, and he gives me the job. But he's real impressed because of John Hill and Grady Hallman, Denton Cooley, all the heart surgeons, and he lets me get free rent. So I get free rent to be the apartment manager. So now I feel important again because I can work. Now, I always wanted to work and I wasn't going to have kids. So now I'm important again because I got a job. I can pay my way. So that's where the guy comes. Yeah, I got a job, and they're telling me I got to finish my education. But it's not important. They'll make sure I get certificates and all that. But they're telling me it's not important because I'm so smart, and I did clep some stuff. But they have to punch some tickets or something, some people. So the NASA, my husband drives from League City, where I've got the free job, and, John Robinson, John gets killed.
You're confusing us. Wait, TJ, we're getting confused here again. We need to let Suzanne take you back. Don't proceed forward until Suzanne says we're complete with that episode, okay? So, Suzanne,